Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough when mans keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Juju, put this on the poll. I forgot to do this yesterday, and I appreciate you doing it. We got a big show today. Is it okay to spend Father's Day in Edmonton? Put that on the poll. We'll get to your father in just a second, Chris Cote. He is the center of the media world right now, and he has never been happier.
This freaking guy.
Can we slightly reset for a moment? Good morning, Juju. How are you today?
All right, how you doing, my brothers
I'm
and sisters?
good. Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
What are you doing? I said good morning to Juju.
No, you
already.
didn't. You just said, Juju, put this on the poll. No good morning.
I mean, the show
no green,
started.
No, like,
Right.
hey, everybody, Juju's here.
Juju, good morning. Put this on the poll as well.
Please.
Do people who aren't from Florida think Sunrise, Florida is paradise?
Yes.
Yes.
Juju is filling out that Flanagan's jersey. Like, you look like you could go out and hit 350 right now.
You feel me? Tune in to Mystery Crate. We got a little challenge going on. You feel me?
Really?
Hell yeah. Salute the Naked City Pizza also. You got
Okay.
it, though.
Juju, good morning. Also put this on the poll.
Okay, I smoke a lot. Let's pace for these polls.
Yeah, a little slower.
Juju, I'm
Okay,
just trying to
send your
clean up
father.
yesterday's show because Jess made a statement. I agree with her. Is the foul on Caitlin Clark the most covered foul in the history of fouls?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it is.
Really? Yes?
Malice at the Palace?
Ooh, good
Is that
point.
a foul? Or?
Yeah,
It was a foul. That's what started the
as a
entire
foul
thing.
and ended as
Was
a
that a
malice
foul?
in
That
the
was a
Palace.
malice.
Yeah.
I know there were several fouls there, but it was a
Yeah.
fight. It wasn't,
There's a beer flying onto a player.
No. It started with Ben Wallace's foul on Ron
exactly
Artest.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And then all hell broke.
And then Tinsley came out with a
broom.
with a
a
broom.
dustpan.
Yeah,
Dustpan.
Jamal Tinsley.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Miami, pass interference.
That's a good one, right, Walt?
Not a foul.
Is
don't
it
think
the
it was
most
discussed.
discussed foul in the history of fouls? I don't know.
It is. And I just wanted to stop, please.
Did
I'm just tired.
when you were watching the Malice at the Palace
Yeah.
and you saw Steven Jackson's involvement, did you ever say to yourself, I will be a coworker with him one day? Because I did not.
No.
Okay.
Who had that, Billy?
I don't know if anyone had that thought. A lot going on that day, but never did I think that would be an outcome of that.
I've often thought
Same.
that if you could take life bets, like I think that couple's going to get divorced. Like if there was like a life bet, like at that time you could have said, I want to bet that I'm going to work with Steven Jackson one day. You probably could have got some good odds on that.
Oh, no doubt.
Really?
Do you do that with your wife, by the way, as it relates to other couples? Like, they're never going to make
say,
it.
'cause
Yeah.
your marriage, you're in control of that. Like, if you're taking a bet with
Right.
your wife, will we get divorced one day? You're 100%
No
in
one likes to
control
talk
of that.
about their marriage. They love to talk about other people's marriages, though. I mean, it's just the way we are.
Should go to a wedding and be the bookie to take bets on what everyone in the room thinks the odds are on a
Over-unders.
divorce. Yeah,
Shady.
over-unders on years. Just you can give them particular favorites. It would be great.
Your thing is being the shady person outside of like the wedding. Like, hey, anyone want any action on this? Anyone want any action?
Speaking of weddings, salute to Stephanie and AJ out of New Jersey. They sent the whole show some invitations to their wedding. They're getting married tomorrow. Holy moly.
I didn't get an invite.
Bridesmaid.
Well, hold on. When
A
they
little
send
They're
late.
getting
it,
married
It was a show invite. It
tomorrow?
was a show invite.
when they send it,
What's this dated? I didn't screenshot the date.
it's okay.
But it's tomorrow and it's happening.
Where is it?
Congratulations. In New Jersey. Etheridge, Carteret, New Jersey.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I sent them a thank you note for inviting me.
Wait, you got one?
Yeah, they spelled my name wrong. I forgive them for that.
Where'd you see it?
We got it at the office.
Really?
In the mail?
Yeah.
I
Was it
haven't
just
seen
for
this.
you? Or?
No, it was for everybody.
Where they go? IE?
No, they spelled my last name wrong. They switched the letters.
I was gonna say Lucy's hard to screw up.
Did you spell their names wrong in the thank you note?
No, I gave them a sticker of the Temu Tony with the picture of Taylor.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to give. I'm not going to
Coveted.
give you an actual gift because I don't really know you that well.
I bought someone a can opener once that invited me to their wedding. I found their registry and I got them a can opener.
Really?
I wanted to get them something for inviting me, but I don't know you that well. I'm not going to break the bank, so I got them. They had a can opener, so I
It's
got
something
it.
they wanted, right?
Exactly right.
It's clutch.
It's on their registry. What do you want me to do?
Stugotz gummies. I remember what the second poll was,
Yeah.
but I don't think Ro
Valhalla.
remembers
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the second poll was.
He's
I don't
right,
think
wasn't
I
listening.
remember what the second poll
Okay,
was.
very good.
Hold on, let me see if I have it here. Do people who aren't from Sunrise think Sunrise, Florida is paradise?
We're back.
Yeah.
I think it's like the Florida Keys.
Can we, as a
Sawgrass
show,
Mall.
Wait till they get a load of Sunrise. I mean,
can all of us that are here today enter a pact together?
Depends.
Now, here's the problem: is that this now implies that we will be friends for a long time, and I don't, life doesn't always work that way, right? Like, I'm not friends with the same people I was friends with 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, right?
Yep.
But this is a long-term pact that I like to get in on with everybody here today, if possible. And it goes back to what we were discussing a little while ago with Steven Jackson. Can we make a pact that over the next 2 years, if we're still, working together, friends, whatever, in 2 years, over the next 2 years, we each get one incident that we all claim I will be a coworker with that person moving forward 10 years from now. You know what I mean? Or we can just move on to the next topic.
We can
Let's
move
do
on
that.
to the next
let's do
topic,
I
that.
will
because
never
I have
be
plenty
a
of those.
co-worker of Selma Hayek. I will never be her co-worker. Never. I will
No.
never work
I don't think
with Holly
that's-
Berry.
I think it's the
Right.
opposite, though.
No, it's the
Yeah.
opposite.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's the
You
opposite.
want to
Yeah.
manifest
Oh.
it.
Exactly.
You want to.
So, like,
in that
Gypsy
case, I
Rose
will be
Blanchard or
working
whatever
hard.
comes out of, prison, and you're like, I'm
No,
going to be a
she's
coworker.
out.
Yeah, and then it happens, and you're like, I'm going to be a coworker of hers one day. You know what I mean?
I could see that happening.
Can you?
Yeah.
Really?
What if we go into the entertainment space?
I would love that.
I think I'm gonna work with Nick Cannon one day.
huh?
Okay.
Really set the bar high, huh?
It's
Wow.
Just, I just had that vision of it. I don't know
you-
what I'm doing.
of
It's
you
a
and
little
Nick
bit of a
Cannon?
different game, but that's fine. You can manifest being Nick Cannon's coworker.
After all this blows up, Mike Schur gets me like some internship somewhere. Where
Mike
I'm just
Schur.
Like,
This blows
Yeah.
up, and then you get an internship.
I'm gonna use my relationship with Mike Schur to
Wait, if this
try to get
blows
us-
up, no, but Tony's right. Like, we all stop. Like, you're gonna parlay this into an internship?
to a non-paid position.
Guys, I'm not gonna he's gonna make me a director of I gotta
Look at
start
Chris.
somewhere.
Yeah,
it's
Chris-
a new industry for me. I can't just go to be like an executive producer somewhere. Like, I gotta
course you
work,
can.
I gotta work my
Sorry.
way up in the film industry.
Right.
Fake it till you make it, kiddo.
Chris is a man that's worked his way up, doesn't rely on connections.
Right.
So he says,
You're
you know
right.
what? I'm going to go and I'll start as an intern.
Right.
What Hollywood experience does he have? Why should he think that he's just all of a sudden going to be working?
It's a gack.
He's going to put in the work. He works hard.
Who are you gonna work with?
I don't know. I have 2 years to say. The point was there was an incident.
Right.
And then when that incident happens, I say, you know what? I think I'm going to work with that person one day. The incident hasn't happened yet.
All right.
I have 2 years.
To figure it out.
But I also am realizing now that, one, I didn't think of this game until I started coming out of my mouth. Two, it's
Right.
not a good game to play on a show that's not going to last for 2 years. Not that the show's not going to last for 2 years, but this episode's not going to last
No.
for 2 years. So for closure in this situation,
Right.
no, trust me.
This
the
segment
awe
feels
that
like
this
it's
is-
2 years long.
Exactly
Yeah,
right. I'm
yes,
going to
exactly,
say
yeah.
the audience is going to be more than happy that this show doesn't last 2 years.
Okay. Your
Thanks,
dad,
Willie.
your dad, Chris, he's in all his glory right now. He is the center of the media world. Everyone's talking about his takes. I'm insanely jealous of him. Set up the first one here. It is his take about Connor McDavid being overrated.
So yeah, he wrote a column while admitting on air that he's watched Connor play probably less than 6 times. He wrote a column calling him overrated, saying he's played long enough, best player in the league. How is this your first Stanley Cup final? Pretty, I don't want to call it it's just a guy trying to do a thing. Whoa. Right? I mean, that's all my dad's
He
trying to do
went
there.
through the stats. He poured through all the stats your dad did. Again, he hasn't seen him play less than 6 times. That's the point.
Right.
The point is,
Doesn't matter.
Looked through the box score, saw that he was great, looked at the championships, saw 0, said overrated.
It was a take that I was kind of not the proudest of, but now that it's getting traction, and we're
Right.
about to play a clip here from Sports Centra, not Sports Center.
Oh.
It's
No,
still
no.
center.
I know, but
They
they
just
spell it with the
differently.
R-E.
It's Centra, though.
It's
No,
Canadian.
Spelled
Yeah.
center.
Apologize.
Yeah.
It's like theater, like ERR.
Right.
Theater.
Right, yeah.
Centra. I'm with Chris.
Theater.
That first part is
in
spelled the same.
Canada,
Same
their Sports Center is spelled with an R-E, and they ran with my dad's clip. Here it is.
Is this the most ridiculous hot take ever? This is Mick Ridiculous. Absolutely. Listen, I'm all about clickbait, reader engagement, pandering to the home crowd. I get that. And maybe it's working because here we are talking about it, so it's mission accomplished. But like, if you know anything about hockey, and I'm assuming Greg might, you know that one player, no matter how great he is, cannot get it done and win a Stanley Cup on his own. Not McDavid, not anybody. But McDavid clearly is the greatest player in the game. He is generational. He's one of the best offensive players in the history of the game already. He has proven that beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, Greg, I'm sorry. This is preposterous, outrageous, ridiculous, and just flat out wrong. So I know the Miami crowd might eat it up going up against McDavid, but if you're a hockey writer, some point you're going to look back at this article, this headline, and say, that was not my finest journalistic moment, because this is just ridiculous and wrong.
I said all that yesterday.
You don't know Greg Cote, my friend.
You know what's ridiculous? That audio quality.
Exactly.
Maybe it's working. You're talking about his column on SportsCentra.
Exactly, and it's smoke. Whoever was saying that, I ain't like how you said, Greg. I ain't like how you put the G on it.
Oh, the condescending Greg?
You see me
Yes.
smoking this up. Don't talk about my big dog like that. It's smoke.
Juju, you're right. The first Greg, you're saying. Yes. Can we isolate? Can we isolate that?
I'm gonna get it,
It's hard to be intimidating when you're Canadian. You're like, a boat. It just doesn't work.
Is that what you were laughing at during the entire?
I love their accents, but they are not scary.
The Greg was a little bit like Rodney.
Yes, it was.
Tyler.
A very condescending Greg, which Greg loves, by the way. He does. And if you go back and click on his column, months from now, years from now, just to, see what a jackass he was for writing what he wrote, he'll be fine with that.
He called him a hockey writer.
Greg.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh.
Greg.
How happy is your dad?
I haven't talked to him yet, and he's going to join us later.
Of course he
in the
is.
show, but
Yes.
I don't know how he feels about it yet.
I'm glad that he's joining us because I have an idea to kind of escalate the situation that I think your dad would like. So obviously there's an overrated chant that you do everywhere. It's very easy to add a mech at the beginning of it. So you should try, I think Panthers fans should try to get
it going in the crowd.
Overrated over and over again, right? You just add the mech at the front of it and really drive the Centras crazy up there.
As he scores his 7th goal.
I was just going to say, as much as I love what's happening right now, there is a poke the bear thing that we're doing here.
Don't worry about that.
What do you mean poke the bear?
Although it is ridiculous thinking like Connor McDavid, this all-time great that needs a Stanley Cup, that he now is going to try hard, as if he wasn't going to. And what if my dad gets a shout out from Connor if they happen to win the series?
Oh, that's best case scenario for your
great,
dad.
yeah.
Screw you, Greg.
Yes.
Roy, aren't you going to be in the locker rooms for post-game interviews?
In the Panthers locker rooms. Yeah.
Well, why?
Okay,
Hold
You
on.
got to get it,
ask
Roy.
Connor, you know what I mean? This question.
No, Roy, if
Fair
there's a
and
game
balanced,
7, let's
Exactly right down the middle. Roy, you got to go to both locker rooms.
Yes, let's project out here, Roy. So it's game 7. It's in Sunrise. It's in Paradise. Okay.
Yeah.
And
A dolphin just swam by.
We're actually looking at it behind you. That's
the ocean, the river, everything.
Stadium's right around the bend.
And McDavid scores an overtime goal. The Oilers win the cup.
Wow.
Why are you doing this?
Are you going to walk into because Greg would prefer this? Okay, it's the outcome he's rooting for.
What were your thoughts on
Miami
Herald columnist Greg Cote calling you Mick overrated before the series?
Well, he's going to be in the ice doing that, celebrating with the cup. So I'd rather not do that.
Well,
hold on a second. So you're never going to talk to the Oilers at any point during the series?
No, I'm going to be in
Why?
the Panthers locker room. Because I'm going to be in the Panthers
who's gonna
locker
be
room.
the
who's
other
covering
side?
the Oilers?
Dwork? Who's going to be on the other side?
No, we're both in the Panthers locker
Well,
room.
hold on a
what
second.
sense
That's a
does that
redundancy.
make?
We don't
Yeah.
need two people. That's inefficient.
What?
Why not? Is it a credential thing?
No, it's not a credential thing.
Wait,
He
we're
works for the
sending
hockey
2
news.
reporters to go to the same locker room?
Well, he's in there for the hockey news. Writing for the Florida branch of the hockey news.
If I have to do it, I'll do
Game
it.
4.
Compare notes. You know
I'll
what I
get
mean?
I'll get a credential. I'm
I
asking
tried.
Connor.
Roy kept me away from the Stanley Cup final.
I didn't keep you away. The league kept you away. The deadline was on the 30th.
I don't buy that.
We should let Rose do it.
Is Rose going?
Yes.
This Saturday, no, it's going to be Danny. Rose is out of town.
Well, hold on
Well-
a second. Hold on a second.
What?
When did Danny get credentialed?
He got credentialed the same time as me and Rose.
Yeah, but
why
Billy
didn't
doesn't
you-
have one.
Here's the thing that I don't understand.
Again.
You knew this deadline was coming up, and you know how much the Stanley Cup final means to me. Why did you not tell everyone when the deadline was for credentials?
I did. When
No,
the window opened.
You did.
I told Carl.
Lucy, did you know the deadline?
Look, I'm our road person. I'm traveling all the events, and I didn't hear anything
Right.
about a credential deadline.
Just
I
the
told
wedding.
Carl.
Just the
Do
wedding.
I want to
I
go to
told Carl.
Canada? Absolutely not. But still, I would have liked to been asked.
Yeah.
Will you see? You're going on Friday to media day.
Yeah,
Will you see maybe Connor there?
maybe. I think
I'm
so,
just
yeah.
saying. I think it is it would be good for the show, and it's a reasonable question after
Yeah.
it's been in the news. What are your thoughts on
Being
the Miami
called Mick
Herald calling you
overrated.
Mick overrated?
I understand what you're saying here. We have to do it early because I said game 7. Like, all that has to play out. There has to be a 7th game. It has to go to overtime. McDavid has to score the winning goal.
I think you need to do it after
You
a
need to do
loss.
it early.
You need to do it after a loss. Like, you need
Yeah,
to
game 2.
really, really get it in there to bother him.
No,
And then
you
that
need to
could get
lead.
him in his head.
Connor,
Yeah.
is there any truth after you're down
Yeah.
0-2 in the series?
Are you going to practice this week, Roy?
Friday, yeah. First day of practice.
Are you going to Edmonton's practice, or no
Yeah.
one's going to that? You are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both
That's-
practices are at the arena.
That's the time to do it. I
Rose
think.
is our person,
Yeah.
I think. Rose
Are
will,
you Mick overrated?
Rose will ask
But
the
Rose is
question.
out of town.
Absolutely.
She's out of town.
Where is she?
North Carolina.
Doing what?
I don't know. She's just out of town.
It's a big opportunity for
Ask
Rose.
her to change
Well,
it.
hold on a second. She's
She's
one
doing
of our.
with the USWL. She's with the Good Follow people or Christian Polanco. They're shooting for the women's sport. So she's doing important work.
Thank you, Juju.
But
Yes.
who's going with you to cover this?
Danny.
Okay, so Danny has to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny asks.
Yeah,
Why can't
Danny
Roy
needs to
ask?
Why
That's what
can't
I'm
Roy
wondering,
ask?
too.
That's
I
a
don't
good
understand
question.
that.
I
Why
think it's
can I-
superstition. Is this superstition?
Right.
No, it's not superstition. Like, I'll be. You know what? I think I can actually ask because the Oilers practice is after the Panthers practice, so I'll be able to ask.
Well, hold on a second. Jeremy's going, right, for Bally's?
Yeah, I will be
So
there.
Jeremy should ask.
All right.
I don't know if I'll be at this pre-Stanley Cup media availability.
Is anyone
but
covering
I will
Edmonton?
Be there.
I
I
mean,
will be
does
there
anyone wanna
afterwards.
work?
Look, Roy covers.
Does
the-
anybody want to work?
Roy
Yeah,
covers
journalism.
the
I'm
Florida
going to go there and
Panthers.
do it.
Well, you're not credentialed
You're not
because
credentialed.
Roy didn't tell us
Jesus
the deadline.
Christ.
If the show came up with a question that we want answered, wouldn't that be like top priority?
Right.
I would think. Who are you covering? Okay.
Look, if
My
anybody
show.
see Connor McDavid,
Let's
ask him
rewind.
ask this. If you hear this, if you under the sound of my voice, if you see Connor McDavid, ask him this question.
Roy covers the Florida Panthers, guys.
On behalf of?
Not the Edmonton
My
Oilers.
show.
Covers the Stanley Cup.
They're
Exactly
called
right.
the Edmonton Oilers,
It's the hockey
not the
show.
Edmonton
Exactly.
Oilers,
Panthers
guys.
show.
Thank you. Tony finally gets it. It's called the hockey show, not the Panthers show. You're covering hockey. This is an international story at this point.
Well,
it was on Sports Centre yesterday.
Well, as I said, the Oilers practice will be after the Panthers practice, so
And?
I will try to ask him.
Do a double.
How are you going to ask? Let's phrase this properly so that it's not asked, in a way that will potentially be offensive.
Pretend Billy's Connor.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
HBO
pretend I'm
show.
Connor.
Roy, it's an easy question because you have Greg Cote. You have the umbrella of Greg Cote. It's not you asking it, it's him. So go ahead.
Pretend
No,
I'm Connor.
Right.
What's up, fella? What's this all about?
That's not how. So, Connor, there is a Miami Herald columnist named Greg Cote who called you overrated. What do you have to say about this?
That
Perfect.
Greg Cody's a real peckerhead. I don't know.
Now we
I
got our
don't
quote.
think
If you call him a
Canadian
peckerhead,
insult.
that'd
I
be
don't
amazing.
think that's what they use.
What do they say?
Hoser.
Did that?
A real bellend, that Greg Cody. Is that right?
No. He
Where
just
is
told
he
you.
from?
I don't know.
Is he from England?
Where is he
Scotland?
from?
What?
I don't know.
He's Canadian.
Oh. All right.
You're right.
Crody.
Find the reporter, too. The guy who was on Sports Centra.
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson?
Yeah, find him.
Yeah, he's not going to be down here.
What?
Why?
Why not?
What?
I don't understand
What?
hockey.
What kind of
Hockey-
fan is he?
They're not never.
I
Not a
don't know,
fan,
man.
even
He
a
just did
journalist.
this thing from his house. I don't know.
He's not going to go to the Stanley Cup final.
Maybe not.
What's
I don't
wrong
know.
with hockey? No one gets credentials. How is this possible? Do they
And they
want
can
their
fight.
sport to grow?
Except Danny.
Well, that's.
Well, Danny is Rose's backup. That's why he's credentialed.
Well, that was not the only news that Greg Cote made yesterday. There was some other news as well.
He also made, I love on a news broadcast, and finally tonight.
I missed an end finally.
And so in Oregon, my dad got to be an end finally of a news broadcast.
Finally tonight, did you know that the state of Oregon and the country of Paraguay have something in common? Why am I telling you this? Because we are here to educate and inform, just like the good folks over at the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
Paraguay, from South America, of course, and the U.S. state of Oregon are the only two flags, official flags, that are different on either side. How about that?
See? Forgettable.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. What do you mean like
Can you say it again?
Parallelogram
Okay.
or
But
something?
Slower.
Okay. Okay.
So they're different on both
Yeah.
sides.
If you if
The
you
shape
look
is
at
different.
what's on it is different. The look
So
is
they're
different.
asymmetrical.
No.
No.
Both sides. If you look
Like
at
the
on
front of the flag and the back of the flag have different things
Yes,
on them?
exactly.
Oh.
Right. Yes.
Well
I've never thought
said.
of the backside of a flag.
Yeah. Like the state
neither.
flag, the
Same
Florida
here.
state flag, the Canadian flag are the same on each side. Only in Paraguay and Oregon are the two sides of a flag different.
That kind of thing, Alan. And you know it.
How pleased was he on the first how about that? Like, he thought he stuck the landing, he explained it well, and then he had to explain it again.
3 seconds of silence on that one.
But salute to that brother. See, that's how you cover a Greg Cote story.
Yes.
With respect.
Not seriously.
Greg.
Find that guy.
Who you just are sending everyone to find everyone? What guy?
I don't understand how Mike Johnson can go on SportsCentra, say what he said about Greg, and then not face Greg Cote. Because we know Greg's not going to Edmonton. So, I mean.
Well, then you could argue, well, you don't know how Greg Cote would say what he said and then not go to Edmonton to
a good
face
point.
McOverrated.
But I
That's
love
what's
Greg.
wrong with this generation, bro. There's a lot of computer behind the computer.
Exactly
talking,
right.
And all you want to do is talk and hide behind your screen. Nah, man, we want real smoke with you, Mike. What's his name again?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson. If you don't come to the final, we going to come see you, big bro.
Oh,
But
well,
you-
I don't know about
But
that.
Juju, with that said, shouldn't Greg
It's
Cote
not.
be the one asking Connor McDavid the question? I
Yes,
mean,
absolutely.
he should go to practice on Friday, right?
Right. I apologize.
He should say, I called you overrated. What do you think?
McOverrated.
Your dad would never do that, would he?
No.
No.
Well, Greg doesn't like to make the story about him. Greg goes, he writes the story, he moves on to the next thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I do.
He wouldn't go and say, I said X, Y, Z.
Right.
But now it's become a talking point, and I think someone, Danny, Jeremy, whoever, needs to ask the question.
The proper way to ask the question, though, Roy, when you inevitably ask it, is Greg Cote said you were Mick overrated. You need to make sure that the Mick is in there because
Yeah.
otherwise it just doesn't make sense. I mean, why would he say you were overrated? He just needed to make sure that you knew you're Mick overrated to really kind of grind those gears and make him upset.
I'll make sure I say that, yeah.
Speaking of mix, Christian McCaffrey signed a 2-year extension yesterday.
Wow.
And I think that cements the 49ers going forward in the future as one of the top NFL teams for the time being, for the foreseeable future.
Don't you wonder about Debo and Ayuk?
I do wonder, but money talks.
I wonder more about Brock Purdy, right?
Well,
like,
well-
is he going to get a huge deal like we're seeing for all these quarterbacks?
Not yet.
Not yet, but it's on the horizon. If he takes him to another Super Bowl, like,
I don't know.
Pay the man.
With the money to McCaffrey, and we'll get to C.J. Stroud in a second. I love that guy. I'm tempted to say win a Super Bowl before you talk about other people's careers at Super Bowls, but it's June. Thank you, C.J. Stroud, for doing what you did. It's interesting because with C.J. Stroud, it's like I'm conditioned my entire career is win a ring before you talk about others' rings. But I love that we have a quarterback in his second season who is so bold, who is so confident that he is willing to not only give his top 5 quarterbacks, but to say he would rather have Eli Manning's career than Aaron Rodgers' career. That's a great
He's
job.
doing the
by him.
Stugotz thing. Rings in a box.
I know, but yeah, I know.
He also said
I'm so torn on it, though.
He also said if Matt Stafford had Aaron Rodgers' teams, Matt Stafford would have 3 or 4 rings by now.
Yeah, I know.
Which is crazy because he said every time I go out to LA, I try to link up with Matt Stafford and I watch him and I try to kind of. He's like, Patrick Mahomes, I watch his tape, but he does things that you just can't teach. I watch Matthew Stafford and I try to kind of like do things that he does because of how talented he is. But also, Matthew Stafford's not on his list of top 5 best quarterbacks.
so wait a second. So Matt Stafford does things that you can teach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I was saying with Purdy is why give him the money now? Because you have Debo, you have Ayuk, and Debo's going to have to get. There's no way they could sign all 3
Stu,
of
he
those
makes like
guys.
$30,000 a year.
No, but
Yeah.
Ayuk, Debo, and Purdy, there's no way they could sign all 3 in the next year or two to big time money. They
They
can't
gonna
do
lose-
it. You
they
can't
gonna
fit them
lose-
all in.
They're going to lose Ayuk or Debo Samuel, in my opinion.
Well,
Yes.
that's why you don't sign Purdy now. You keep him low so you can pay
Correct.
everybody else. You try to
Yes.
maximize this window, and
100%.
then you sign Purdy after you win a ring,
Purdy
hopefully,
holdout.
and you can let everybody go.
Yeah. Brock Purdy. Blah, blah, blah.
I think he'll
What
get
are you
paid pretty well.
Oh, Jeremy.
Get him out of here.
2 minutes.
Stugotz, I'm a little bit concerned. Lucy,
What?
I'm a little bit concerned.
No.
I didn't want it to seem like I wasn't addressing you.
It's concerned.
I'm
He's
concerned about the lazy river slightly.
Why?
Because I feel like we're being watched. And even though we're doing the show, it's, we can't get a little too crazy, which is why like a couple weeks ago when I was sitting in that seat,
yes,
we implemented a couple things. We implemented the wheel of topics we won't get to, which didn't go over well, so we're not going to be doing that.
Right.
And then we also implemented...
We enjoyed it.
Checking the boxes score.
Right.
Where we check the box scores and we talk about the games that happened last night to make sure that we stick to sports to a certain extent. Like we talk about the topics in sports and we're not just talking about things. Because like I have other things that we can talk about. I have something that I've been doing in the shower that I didn't know that I was doing. I found out about.
Laying down?
Tony no, not that. we can get to
so
it later.
Odd, man.
Tony
a lot of people agreed with me on that. By the way.
Tony thinks broccoli isn't real. We can get to that later as well. But there are sports stories that we should talk to. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a little bit sick, but not super sick.
Am I in trouble?
No,
I'm
you're
sitting
fine.
across from you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I
Are you
think I'm doing a
sure?
good job of managing it. Yeah, no, I'm on the back end. This is the
Okay.
back nine of the cold, but I still have a lot of mucus. But I'm not like coughing as much. I'm not coughing hardly any. I was not waking up with coughing fit. See, here's the thing. We've now gotten off track again. We're not talking about sports.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for you to get to it.
Like you put any flashing, shiny thing, and I'll go down that path. You talk to me about anything, like I'll follow you down that path. But there are things in sports that happen. So I feel like, Roy, last time you were the one that was checking the boxes scores, right? So then make sure to cover the sports topics du jour. So if you can you do that responsibility again today? Not necessarily here, but things are happening in sports.
Baseball, really.
The WNBA.
Exactly.
The WNBA.
Exactly. Angel Reese was kicked out of the game
For nothing.
last night. Exactly. She gave the referee a look and kind of in a little bit of a wipe
Just a
away.
little
And
this.
got kicked out of the game, bro. Come on now. We already understand what's going on, but be more respectful now.
Correct, sir.
The officiating in that league, like, genuinely makes me lose my mind. You will see someone just get, like, literally hammered to death under the rim, and then Angel Reese will be like, little quick, like, push away, and they're like, you're out, you're done. It makes no sense.
But, Lucy, you're one of the few who has been watching this for a long time. Has this always been the case?
It has always been, like, a physical game. I don't know why people have thought that that's not what the case is. I think they just assume women can't be tough, and that's not true.
Right.
And the officiating's always been bad. But I also feel like we as sports fans are never like, that was good. That was really good officiating. That is a well-called game. Like, I never, ever think that.
Right. Speaking of, like, remember Candace Parker came in the league and she was running down the court and old girl pushed her and then pushed her back down on the ground. Like, bruh, these rookies been getting this treatment for a long time, but these referees have been kind of whack for a long time because they miss a lot of travel calls. They miss a lot, bro. And it's like, what is the criteria to become a WNBA ref? Because dare I say, I know a lot about basketball. I might need to get on the track and try out for them boys because it be looking a little shaky.
Juju, with your seats, I think if you just dressed up like a ref, you could just stand up and they wouldn't notice. They would have no clue.
Wow.
You should try it, Juju.
I think it's a great idea.
I think the fur headband will give it away.
I'm not following your concerns, though, Billy. We kind of cut you off.
What are
there.
my concerns?
Just the lazy river and what we're doing
Well,
and where we're
no,
going and
you know,
people are
watching
watching
us.
us. And I don't really care who's watching us. If you're not here, I don't care what your opinion is. I'm sorry.
I mean, like the audience as well
Right.
says, this is just an extended mystery crate, and they want the sports.
Oh, okay.
And,
Well,
we're not giving it.
Randy Jam from YouTube says,
Oh.
that's not at all what people think. You
Oh.
feel me? Randy Jam, salute. I'm
Thank
on
you,
YouTube
Randy
right
Jam.
now.
I have a WNBA question for Lucy. I saw that Kate Martin was left behind and she missed the bus and they drove away without her and she was running out of a restaurant or something. Character issues?
No,
Oh.
everyone loves her. You don't when you don't like someone, you don't pull the cute little drive away prank. Like, we'll find the video in a second. Here it is. Kate went to the bathroom, was late, and we don't have the audio on it, but they're cheering. They love her so much.
Yeah, this is good, clean fun.
Yeah, this is great.
You can tell by her reaction.
Bruh, and this is how it was. I could I think this is real because Sunday they played the Aces. Last Friday the Dream played the Aces.
Great win for the Dream.
Right. Kate Martin was standing, had a long ass line, far longer than a lot of other people. So this is probably real. People love Kate.
Yeah, they love her. This is also not like the first sort of, I don't want to say hazing because it's not really hazing, but they also have given her the rookie Hello Kitty backpack. So she has to carry a Hello Kitty backpack with her wherever they go. This team loves Kate, and it makes me so excited.
This is very different than when Alabama left Lane Kiffin at a stadium.
Yeah. That was a tarmac.
Yeah. Oh,
or
tarmac.
USC left him at the tarmac.
Yeah. How does Lane miss so many buses?
It's awesome.
He misses more buses than anyone in the history of sports, I feel like.
I don't think he missed the plane at the tarmac. I said the plane is leaving with him.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. That wasn't his choice. They made him miss that one.
What's going on with you and your body wash?
Well, I discovered today that, and I told you guys this in confidence. I didn't think we were going to do this on air, but I discovered today.
You brought it up.
In a private conversation.
Well, you just said it again on the front end here.
I found out today that I accidentally have been using a combo shampoo conditioner as body wash for the past 3 or 4 days. I didn't know. Because it's the same like brand and the bottle looks similar. And like my body wash is out and I saw this one there right next to it. And obviously like I take off my glasses to take a shower. So like I'm not reading the labels. I see it. This is like a blue bottle. This looks like it's the right thing. So I just grabbed it and I was wondering, I'm like, I didn't buy this. Was this like an old one that I just left like and it just reappeared? Then I thought like my mother-in-law comes sometimes, like she'll like get us like if we're low on water, she'll just like bring a case of water. Like did she for whatever reason notice in the bathroom that this was low and get another one? Like I didn't question it until today when I'm like, it really is weird that this full bottle just appeared out of nowhere. And then I looked at it and I'm like, this says shampoo conditioner. Like I don't know. And I don't use the combo. So, like, when I use shampoo and conditioner, I use separate bottles. I use whatever my wife has, to be honest with you. Of course. Like, sometimes, like, it's not for my type of hair or whatever, but I'm like, if it's for hair, it's for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this one, what?
That's not accurate.
How so?
What if, I don't know, like, what if your wife has blonde hair and dyes her hair?
I use, when I, used to live, like, with my parents, I would use, like, shampoo sometimes it says, like, for blonde treated hair.
Oh, like, you should go blonde, Billy.
I thought about...
But summer, Billy.
Please.
Okay. I thought about, not that. I thought about silver hair one time, right? But I don't think I can do it.
Yes, you can.
Here's the thing.
Like Izzy?
You're very handsome, bro.
I'm at a phase in my life where there's lots of photo opportunities, like for memories for my children, that I can't really do stuff like that. Like I've thought about like in summer my hair's long. I really don't like getting a haircut. I think it's an anxiety thing where I don't like the stuff being around my neck. Like I don't like the paper. I don't like the thing. So like
what do you think's gonna happen?
It's
choking.
Tight.
He doesn't like to be confined. That's all he's saying.
It's an anxiety thing. Yeah,
just tell your barber that.
Make it loose.
No, I can't. I can't tell.
You don't tell the barber.
Sweeney
You don't tell the artist how to paint. You
Exactly
just don't.
right,
I don't tell my
yeah.
barber anything. Just let the barber cut your hair.
My barber also is always telling me like you need to like will correct. Not just this barber. Like all my barbers correct my head because like they'll be cutting my hair and then like I guess my head moves.
Oh yeah,
and
they
like,
have to do
and
that.
then like eventually like can you please keep your head still? Stop moving so much. I'm like I didn't think I was moving. So anyway,
Tell your barber it's just something you're into. I like the hair to just flow down my body. I don't need that little guard there.
It's like a kink of mine.
Yeah. If you're worried about the anxiety of it, just be like, I'm into hair. I'm into it.
I also never really
Nobody's into that though.
I never go anywhere. Like I never get my haircut on the way to somewhere I'm going. I always like shower after or whatever, right?
What?
So
That's
like,
not how to do it.
Do they wash
bruh.
your? I don't know how they cut men's hair. Do they wash your hair there, or is it just?
It's an option most places.
There's some places that do, but this is like a barbershop doesn't
okay.
do that. Yeah. I just go like basic haircut.
Right. And get
By
out.
the way, beef with all of you. I got a haircut this week. None of you noticed.
Oh.
Your
Happy
hair looks
haircut.
great.
I did.
No, you didn't. Roy.
I haven't seen you without glass between us, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Accountability. Your hair looks nice
Whatever.
though.
Did
Roy-
you change the
It's because
style?
I got it cut.
Did you change the style?
Yeah,
or
I got
just-
more layers. I have more face framing
Oh.
pieces.
Roy, are you
cut
saying
off a
you
couple
know?
inches?
Are you saying you noticed and didn't say anything? What are you claiming here?
I mean, it's none of my business, but yes, I noticed her hair's a little shorter.
No,
Can
Lucy's
we-
saying that she's
Roy, can
hurt.
we
That
say
no
that?
one noticed or
Right.
said anything.
Make a
Right.
public
No
L
one
one
noticed.
time.
Right, can we send Roy to the
It was
penalty box?
expensive.
That is a flat
Is that
out
on the
lie.
table?
That is an absolute lie.
Is penalty box on the table right now?
No.
For Roy? Because please, brother, like, you didn't know this. If you
What?
just,
We had a full conversation this morning. Not one word about my new hair.
I mentioned
cut
your
off like
bag.
3 inches.
I mentioned your bag.
You did, but that wasn't my hair. My bag was like $3. The haircut was really expensive.
Did you like the place you went to?
Yeah, it's lovely. The girl who does my hair is amazing. It looks so good. It's so soft right now. I cut off a lot.
Yeah.
It's documented. I was late as hell. I walked in and Stugotz didn't even say good morning, so I apologize still for all of us.
Sorry.
All of us.
I'll see if I get over it.
The other day, my mom got home from an appointment, and my dad's like, "Oh, your nails look great." She's like, "It was a haircut."
Oh, wow.
That doesn't mean her nails don't look great, though.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
He
weird
tried, though.
Yeah.
is this morning Roy told me my nails looked good, and my nails aren't done or anything. He didn't say, "Hey, I like your haircut." He said your nails look nice, they're kind of gross right now.
Well, yeah, you usually wear those press-ons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got your natural nails out, so yeah, they look
I don't
good.
like
They look
those.
nice.
Lucy, if Roy says he was thinking it but didn't say anything, I believe him. Do you?
No, because
Really?
he complimented my nails. It's weird to compliment my natural nails and not be like, "Hey, your hair also looks nice. Did you get a haircut?"
Yes,
It's even
but
weirder not to say something if you notice, you weirdo.
yes, but Stugotz, when do I ever say anything?
Never. That's my
But
point.
you
That's why I
said
believe
something
you.
about the nails.
But you
Right.
did say something. But
Now
it
you
was
want flowers and
wrong.
credits.
You
for
just said the
seeing.
wrong thing.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I would like a flower.
Nah, you need to do like a penalty box walk.
Yeah.
No.
What you waiting on, Stu?
2 minutes for what, Juju?
For being boring again and lying with your boredom.
Boring.
I just made it. We don't have a penalty sounder for lying, so we're just gonna be boring.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, asshole.
Perfect.
I would not use that word. Roy.
Yeah, I'm definitely not leaving.
It was the closest thing I had.
That's harsh.
Wait,
I'm-
Roy,
I'm
Let's
not
get the
leaving.
step in, bro.
why are you not
I'm
leaving? Too harsh?
Because
Get the step
Dan's
in,
not
bro.
here, for one.
It's a minor. I mean,
No.
no. Juju controls the penalty box when Dan is not here. You weren't here for that.
Thank you.
mean,
I bestowed
yeah.
this.
I
on
was...
you.
okay.
Did you make that up?
Yes.
Hit the road, Jack.
Well, you're lying, too.
Hit
What
the
are you
road,
talking
Jack.
about?
Get outta here,
You need to
asshole.
hit the road.
Nice hat, asshole.
None of you recognize my haircut. You all should go.
Lucy, did you
I'm
feel
with it. Let's go.
I'm going to go.
Did you feel
Let's all
conflicted
go.
after you got your haircut? Like you thought it was too short or something?
No, I honestly wanted it a little shorter, but I like the length. She did a really good job with the layers, the face framing. Bye, everybody.
Where is everybody going?
Well, they're all going to the penalty box,
have
so they
work
didn't
to
notice
do,
my
friends.
haircut.
Is this like a one for all?
I can
all
monologue
for
for 30
One for all?
seconds. Yeah, it was nice. I like getting my haircut because I love when they do like we get
Yeah,
our
when you
hair
get-
washed and we have to like lay back in the chair like this, which is actually really uncomfortable.
Does it
but,
ever
like,
drip down your back by accident? That
No.
happened to me once. I hated
it's
it.
like every once in a while, I got like a steam treatment, which
Ooh.
was crazy. And
What
that's
is that?
I don't know. I didn't pay for it, but it
Okay.
was like they like were blowing steam onto my hair. I think my hair was really dry. Needed a lot of moisturizer, but it was fun, and I wish somebody would have noticed because I was super excited. Super excited. My hair was really dead before, and now it looks so full of life, and none of you noticed.
All right, David Samson is with us. Check out his podcast, Nothing Personal. I'm excited to speak to David because I am wondering and have been wondering for a while the real long-term effects, David, of the Florida Panthers. If they were to win the Stanley Cup, what would that mean in terms of financial impact for that team, in terms of fans for that team? Because I think it's a great story. I'm just not certain how much it helps the Panthers moving forward, and you would know best.
Yeah, it's actually going to help them a lot because they're still trying to recover from the Yormark years. And people may not remember, he used to be the president of the Panthers. And while I was president of the Marlins, they would drive us crazy under previous owners because they were giving away sponsorships. They were giving away tickets. And it made it look as though they had all these corporate partners, but the actual revenue was so low. And when you give tickets away, it's then hard to charge for tickets. And then Vinny Viola came in, and he has really been an incredible owner with Matthew Caldwell as team president. And they have set up the team both on the ice and off the ice to capitalize on this stretch and this window with their second straight Stanley Cup appearance. Their revenue is up, their local gate revenue, and this coming at a time when the TV revenue, with the bankruptcy of Fox Sports Florida or Bally's or whatever you want to call it, but they're making up for it with corporate revenue, ticket revenue, and they're charging what they should be charging. And if they win the Stanley Cup, then they get to even increase prices more than just being in the Stanley Cup. So you could get a $50 million bump in your local revenue next year. And that's all because they've done it the right way. It's pretty cool to watch.
How much of a financial difference, David, is there in winning the Stanley Cup? Because we were talking yesterday, and Chris Cote was saying, I'm happy with my team making it to the Stanley Cup final year after year. And we made a reference to the Buffalo Bills. Like, well, would you rather be the Buffalo Bills who make it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row? Or would you rather be the team that wins a Super Bowl, but then is, not relevant 4 straight years making it to the championship? So I guess how much of a difference does the championship make over having sustained success?
Well, we talked about that with the Marlins and the Braves. You remember the Braves won one World Series during that huge run of division titles, 14 in a row. And the Marlins won 2 World Series, but never made the playoffs. And what we agreed, and I had this talk with John Scherholz, looking back, you want to be the Marlins and have the 2 rings and then be nowhere the other 12 years. Looking forward, you want to have the opportunity to get the rings, so you'd rather have the 14 straight playoff appearances. I'm sort of the mind, I'm looking back because there's way more time spent looking back in life than there is looking forward, depending on age, but in sports, that's the case. So I'd rather have the rings. When it comes to price increases, it really depends. Winning the cup allows you to charge more next year, but in terms of this year's revenue, it's about the number of home games hosted. So you want to host all 4 games this series if you are Florida. That means going to a game 7. Interestingly enough, given a choice to win the cup in 6 in Edmonton or come host in 7, if you can guarantee a win, you'd rather host in 7. But since you can't, you'd rather win it in Edmonton.
But I would think long term, though, like winning the championship also has a financial benefit in that you have a 10-year anniversary, a 15-year anniversary. You have merchandise that you can sell forever. Where if you're looking short term, like, yeah, we're in
Billy,
it
you're
every
speaking
year.
his language. I mean, did you see how excited he got when he started talking about raising ticket prices?
And the Panthers are celebrating the 30th this year.
No, but yeah, you're celebrating the 30th of existing, right? But you can then celebrate the 10th. You celebrate the 50th year of the existing and the 20th year of winning a championship, right? And you offset that by a year or so, and then you just have these things that you can constantly be celebrating. You sell throwback jerseys and hats and patches and all of this stuff, and you have special days where, if you make it to the Stanley Cup final 4 years in a row, you can raise ticket prices because there's the interest anyways, and you can say we're a contender every year. But if you don't win that championship, you miss out, I would think, on all that other future revenue, not just short term, but long term.
Yeah, winning is everything. Making it to the finals and losing, it's fun while you're doing that. But I've never gone to an event and seen anybody wear a pennant ring. Never seen one. And you get a ring for winning the pennant for making it to the World Series. Never seen one.
I've never seen a pennant ring.
Right. Do you have yours?
Only a pennant.
No, you don't get it. When you get a World Series ring, you don't get a pennant ring.
Right.
You won the World Series.
What's the need for that when you have a World Series ring? Correct. Yes.
So Buffalo, I assume they've got a bunch of rings, but I don't think they wear them to bar mitzvahs.
Too soon.
They're not proud of those rings. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you don't often see rings from the minor leagues as well. When you win a championship as team president, they send you a ring. And if I didn't have a World Series ring, I'd be more apt to wear those, but I don't wear those now.
You nailed the cough button there. I mean, it was a great job. We all noticed it. It was a great job by you. Billy saying,
Slight delay.
I thought he did a good job. David, a lifetime ban for a guy who won 4% of his bets on baseball.
What a bad gambler.
Yes, right. He should be banned for that. I mean,
how about the guy who got suspended for a year for betting like $99 total?
Right.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you win 1% or 100%. There's not that many rules. I talked about it on this morning's Nothing Personal. There's not that many rules that we need to say in 5 different languages. This is one where everyone gets it. You don't bet on baseball. It's really quite simple to me. There's not even a nuance. And this player and others, they bet on their sport. They bet on their team. That's how you get a lifetime ban. His career's over. And he gave up a career lifetime earnings, whatever they will be, whether they're $700,000 or $70 million, they're now zero, all for the opportunity to lose some money while betting. And the guys who got suspended a year, it's just asinine economics. Giving up $700,000 to try to win $30.
Why?
I don't get it.
Why
He should have blamed it on ePay.
Why do players keep? Why does this keep happening? I guess to players, like you saw this in the NBA, you see this in the MLB now with multiple players this season getting suspended. You saw it a couple years ago in the NFL. Is it just like young naivete, I guess, to not put it any better? Like, why would you risk your career and all of those earnings to place a couple bets?
And I think about addiction sometimes because addiction makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do. But I don't know enough about all the instances, but certainly by reading, I wouldn't necessarily say Porter, ePay for sure, but Porter or Mercano, I'm not sure that they were gambling addicts. I just think that they suffer from a huge dose of stupidity. And that's what we try to legislate against when we're talking to players. But there's certain things that you just would expect that nobody would do because anybody can do the cost-benefit analysis. Man, I better not bet on baseball because I'm going to get caught. It's not that I'm going behind Publix with my bookie. I have an IP address. I have an account. I'm on a network, DraftKings, that can find me in 2 seconds flat and turn me in. It is the most bizarre thing.
So, David, yesterday, Florida decided that they are going to allow high school players to start earning NIL.
Oh, my
next
daughter
season.
just missed it.
I know, so close. Florida isn't the first state to do this. Missouri has done something like this as well. What can we expect to see both in Florida and the rest of the country?
What are you laughing at?
It was so upset.
I am. I really am.
Because not that it would be in an UTMA account for your daughter. What you're upset about is that you don't get to take advantage of the NIL that she would get from her talent and that you would use to buy cigarettes or to gamble.
Bingo.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's all for her, David. Come on.
Is that why everything is for her?
Except the agent fee.
All of your travels, all of your everything.
I do it all for her. Yes.
You're the father of the year.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So it seems like free agency is now going to hit high school. We said on the Sporting Class and also on Nothing Personal and on this show, frankly, that all NIL is college free agency. Everyone's open on 1-year deals. As much of money as you can make, go get it. I guess that's what they're going to do in high school, where what Florida believes is let's get kids to come down here, go to high school here, whether it's IMG or St. Thomas Aquinas, wherever it is, they will get paid. And query, are these players too young? Does it open up a huge Pandora's box of parents, Stugotz, taking advantage of their high school kids in ways that are unsavory, nefarious, and overall bad for a career? I think that we are going to witness all of that take place.
Something that I think is interesting about this is what Missouri has done, which has benefited Missouri college athletics, is they have said you can get NIL deals in high school if you commit to play college in Missouri.
Interesting.
Which I don't know if there's a direct correlation between the season that Mizzou had last year, which was really, really good compared to their previous year, and that NIL deal. But I'm curious if Florida would do something like that to try to keep the talent in state, especially when Florida is such a good recruiting ground for college football, all sports in general.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Florida has certainly competitions between schools, but Florida is a destination state for all these sports, for football, baseball, all of them, really, even basketball, given how great the Hurricanes have been. So that Missouri thing is interesting. It's you're bribing the high schoolers. Please don't leave. I know in Wisconsin, where I was born, they want people from Milwaukee to go to UW-Madison and play there, but they don't always choose it. And you feel like you're being shunned when someone from Wisconsin goes to Michigan, let's say, or someone from Missouri would go to pick a state, lose Oklahoma. You would just be upset about that. So interesting that now they're going to do over-the-table bribes to stay in state.
Well, they're saying if you want to make money as a high school athlete in Missouri, you have to commit to a Missouri school. It's what Mike Ryan is working on right now for the state of Florida.
In order to guarantee that Florida kids stay in Florida, he's going to start paying Florida kids.
No, I was joking. But that's all. They're not bribing them. They're just saying if you want to earn money, you have to commit to a Missouri school.
But that seems impossible to legislate with the transfer portal as well, right? And with the fact that commitments don't actually mean anything right now, right?
How long do you have to stay?
Periods. Well, they can't. Who's even enforcing this? Like, who's the body that would enforce this? Because the NCAA seems to have lost complete control over where people are staying, where they're playing and stuff, right? So how are you going to tell a high school kid, hey, you can make money in high school if you promise that you're going to stay here, and then think that they're actually going to?
It happens once you've signed. So, like, once you have signed, hey, I'm going to play football for Mizzou, then you can start earning those benefits from high school.
Oh.
So you'd have to sign as a junior with Mizzou?
Yeah, you could. I would assume that it's probably more of a thing for seniors just because they sign normally, your senior year, but you could sign earlier. I think it's based on signing, and I don't know if there's anything with the transfer portal or not, but if you play at Mizzou for a year and you transfer out, they can't take the money you earned in high school.
Commitments seem so ticky-tack right now, though, anyways,
They
right?
are.
Like, it doesn't really mean anything to be committed to
That's
school.
free agency.
Yeah.
That's the business we are in right now, and NIL has caused that. You all got what you wanted. You have free agency in college, and now it's going to be in high school, too.
Let's be honest. Who's signing up to stay in Missouri? Nobody is the answer.
I love St. Louis.
St. Louis, right. That's one city.
That's Missouri.
Name all the other places you've been to in Missouri. Go ahead.
What is this game?
Jefferson City.
He can't. Look at him. He can't.
Kansas City?
Kansas City.
Kansas. Well, nothing personal. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. David Samson is the host. David, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See
It's Chatroom Throwback time. Today we play back our interview with Dan Shula, the former NFL player and legendary coach. As coach of the Miami Dolphins, Shula was the winningest coach in NFL history. Enjoy this classic from the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
The franchise of Don Shula, the franchise Don Shula helped make nationally relevant, is in a little bit of disrepair and has been for a while. Thank you for being on with us, as always, Coach. I wonder, will you be watching on Sundays? Are you watching every Dolphin game, or are you shaking your fist at the television and a little bit disgusted with what it is that you've seen happen to your franchise here over the last few years?
Well, I'm disappointed, Dan, but hopefully they'll get it turned around. They're just going through some tough times, and once you're down like that, it's so hard to get it turned around. But hopefully the young quarterback will turn out to be a good investment, and you got to have that QB in order to win games.
Don, Greg Cote here. How you doing?
Greg Cote.
How about that?
Oh, look at
I
that.
always thought you had a face for radio.
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing it for. Believe me. Don, you started Marino about midseason in '83.
Fifth game.
Yeah. Right now they're throwing the rookie right in there, even though his supporting cast isn't so great. Do you have any thoughts on whether this is the right thing to do, or whether you think that Tannehill would be better served by waiting a little bit, maybe even a lot, before getting to start?
I was in the Super Bowl the year before with David Woodley, and to be able to have Marino available on the 27th pick or 26th or 7th pick in the draft was just unbelievable. Pittsburgh even passed him up before we had the opportunity to take him. So once we got him, and had the two of them next to each other on the practice field, Woodley throwing to receivers and Marino throwing to receivers, it was immediately evident, who the passer was and who the athlete was. Woodley was a good athlete playing quarterback, and Marino was a quarterback playing quarterback. He was in my mind, the best pure passer that's ever played the game.
And so on Tannehill, your thoughts are what? Given that you're starting him as a rookie, and he doesn't exactly have Duper and Clayton. He doesn't exactly have a team that, as you said, had just been to the Super Bowl. He needs a lot of help, and he doesn't have very much. Your thoughts on starting him when he's only started 20 games ever at quarterback, even in college?
Yeah, I know that he was a wide receiver, I believe, and then they made him a quarterback. But that indicates he's a pretty good athlete to be able to make a switch like that. And I believe his coach coached him, right, in college?
Yeah,
yes.
Mike Sherman.
The
So
offensive
they have
coordinator.
that kind of relationship and that kind of insight onto his ability and his background.
Coach, once you realized how great Marino was going to be, how many Super Bowls did you think you were going to win with him?
Yeah, that's, the negative is that we didn't win the Super Bowl with Dan, and he was just, such a great player, a great passer, and I would have hoped, for my sake and his sake and the Dolphin fans, that we could have gotten in and won a Super Bowl, but we didn't do it.
I've got a couple of ridiculous non-football questions. As you know, I always like to ask you. And
I know, Dan. I remember all those.
You're very kind about tolerating them. And this is what I'm wondering. If Don Shula is on the Don Shula Expressway and doesn't have any change on him, and pulls up to the toll booth, does Don Shula get to say, hey, I'm Don Shula, this expressway is named after me, I'm sorry I don't have any change? Or do you have to go through your wallet and pull out a driver's license, and then they're going to mail you the receipt for the bill for 75 cents?
Yeah, I've done all that. I've tried all those things. I ended up having to pay.
Get out of here.
I love the idea of that. Thank you for making time for us.
Okay, good talking to you guys. Say hello to everybody back home for me.
So I've kind of become a person that I have something that I do that I'm a little embarrassed about.
You've always been a person.
I always have been.
Always been a human.
Since day one.
Always growing.
Second one.
You're a person.
You're still a person. Yeah.
So I go to restaurants now with my wife a lot, and not always my wife. Sometimes my dad, sometimes friends. And I've become, hey, do you want to split something guy.
Mm-hmm. You do this?
I do.
Oh, you suck.
Because I become like, I can't pick one thing. Like, I always want to try 2 things on a menu. So I'm always like, hey, what are you getting? And if they're getting one of the things that I'm considering, I'm going to throw out there, hey, let's split something. And I don't know why I don't like this about myself, because I feel like I'm an annoying friend to eat a meal with now.
Oh, wait, you do this with friends?
I've done it with friends.
Oh, no.
Let's split a burger. Like, we're not sharing saliva. Like, we're cutting the burger. It's a clean split.
So I do this usually when I'm torn on what it is that I want. Like, if I'm not certain if I want chicken parm or a burger, I'll say, hey, you get the burger, I get the chicken parm. We'll go halvesies.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, I love a good, all right, my wife's going to get a Philly. I'm going to get the burger. I'll cut my burger in half. Now I got a half a burger and a half a Philly. It's just a delightful meal.
What's wrong with this?
I don't know. It's just, I don't like the way people look at me when I'm the one of like, hey, you want to split something. That look back you get is never a good look. Never. Maybe if I was I'm going to go to lunch with you, Lucy, because it feels like
I do it all the time.
We could vibe with that. But
I go out to lunch with Jess and Lehman constantly, and I'm always like,
a 3-way split.
Yeah, we 3-way split.
Yeah.
If I want a burger, I'm going to order the burger. I'm going to have the whole burger. I don't want half a burger. I want a whole burger. So, like, unless we're getting something like wings, we can split wings. If I order a 10-piece, 12-piece, 15-piece, we can split that. But, like, you get yours, I get mine, but I'm getting my own sandwich or my own meal.
Don't sleep on a half a burger.
No, that's the problem. Is there's always someone that
I'm
gets the short end of the stick on this situation.
No, I've done this a lot.
No, yeah,
the person who cuts, the other person gets to pick which half they want.
No, you're the initiator.
That's how it's always fair.
No. The
I'm the one. If
initiator-
I cut poorly, then the other
It's
person
on
gets
you.
to pick the bigger half.
Right.
The
Yeah.
initiator
You pay
is
the price.
always the one that takes advantage of the situation, because you're always there and you're the one that wants to initiate this, and then the person's like, yeah, sure, whatever, and then it's like, but no, like, I wanted to eat what I wanted to eat. You just want to eat half of my meal, and now I'm eating half of a meal that I didn't really want.
You
got
gotta
to ordered that meal.
Find yourself as someone like I did with my wife who wants the smaller half. My wife's a big, I'll take the smaller half.
I'm that way.
Works perfectly with me.
I found myself with someone who has $9 for their own burger.
That's what you really need to
I
find.
mean, $9 burgers are hard to find these days.
That is true.
I think we're just surprised, all of us. We're surprised that you're willing to split anything when it comes to food. Well, I mean, I'm
didn't say
serious.
that.
I'm
He
shocked
got
by that,
you.
and that's why
He
you're
got
embarrassed
you.
by it.
He got you.
He did get me. Do
He
that
got
sound
you.
again. Yes. That should be your rebuttal for every insult.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. How do you feel about if you go like on a thing with like a spouse, significant other, whatever, right? And they're like, no, I don't want I just want the thing. I don't want like a drink, or I don't want a fry, or I don't want whatever. And then it becomes, well, you ate all of mine, and now I didn't get it. Like, I wanted it.
It is a buzzkill when the answer is no. You want to
Oh,
split
it
something?
hurts really
no.
badly.
It's like, okay, well, this is good thing you have a good attitude about this. It's just.
Well, but why can't you just order what you
I'm not
want?
gonna order 2. Like now, you think you're calling me? He just made a fat joke. You think I'm gonna get fat jokes? Like I'm gonna take a burger and a Philly cheesesteak.
What? Just decide.
It's hard sometimes.
Sometimes you can't
That's why I
decide.
just want to ask, just in case. Hey, if you were in the mood to split something, this is what I'm thinking about getting. Like maybe.
There are 2 separate conversations. If you're in the mood for 2 things and you want to split it and go halvesies and the other person's willing, that's fine. What you're ashamed of, what you're saying is you go in with your wife and you say, hey, let's just split a meal. There is no 2 meals. There's 1 meal and you're splitting it.
I don't like the social
No,
pressure.
that doesn't seem right. Because if you are just getting 1 burger and that's it between the 2 of you, that's crazy. And I remember as a server that used to make me so sad, because those were always the difficult tables too that had like 1,010,000 requests. I'm like, I'm gonna get $1 for all of this. If it's 2 separate orders but you're splitting the 2, that's great. Go for it. You get to try new things. My favorite is to go to like the family style restaurants that are designed to be shared.
Yep.
Love those.
Well, here's the thing. If you split a meal, you're going to have to decide together what you want. I want my own meal. So if we split a meal, she's going to want to have, okay, I want this side. Like, I don't want this side.
Look, right, Abby wants to split the salmon with me, not the chicken parm.
I want to clarify here. This is not a constant reaching over.
Yeah.
This is when the food arrives, we cut stuff in half, we put stuff on the plate. So the meal starts, and it's like, I have my food, you have yours. There's no reaching across. Look, if I want 2 main items, now you have me in a spot. If I can't share, I have to turn it like a Philly into an appetizer. because I want the steak and I want a Philly, and like, you know what I mean? It's like now I'm turning a clear entree into an appetizer.
Why didn't you just?
And that's an embarrassing look.
Wait, Jeremy, what are you laughing at? Someone ordering a cheesesteak as an
Turning a
appetizer?
Philly cheesesteak into an appetizer.
Can I get the spaghetti?
It's never been done before.
Can I get the spaghetti as an appetizer? Because my wife won't split it with
But
me.
you guys are also
it's her fault now because she doesn't want to give you half of her meal because you can't decide what you want to eat.
Like I said, I don't like the person I've become.
There's nothing wrong with this.
Thank
Everyone's
you.
being too mean. It's okay to share.
You know, with your wife, if it's okay to share with your wife, but if me and you go to the bar, bro, I'm not gonna.
Hey, Jude, let's split a burger.
Next time I hit Twin Peaks.
I could not disagree with you guys more. Lucy and I split a meal in Vegas.
It was a
Literally just-
delightful experience.
It was wonderful. There's nothing better than sharing a meal.
Let me
with
get one of your
friend.
chicken wings.
We
Jude. Come on,
actually
let me see
did that at the group dinner we went to. We all kind of
That's
like, me and my
exactly what
dad,
happened.
We all kind of got two things.
want
and
my
we
own
shared.
meal.
No,
Right.
you guys.
I
were-
want my own.
You got ranch over there?
I remember you guys talking about how you were splitting.
Me and my
things,
dad did that,
we were-
and Jeremy and Luke. I think we
Yeah.
all got the same
Our
stuff.
side of the table was really kind of like, what's going on over there?
And you guys
Yeah.
are
Make
also
a decision.
speaking from such a place of privilege in that my wife's a vegetarian. So there's so many times where
please.
I don't have an
divorced.
opportunity
Get
to
divorced.
split meals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
where-
divorced.
Yeah, I mean,
Get
all right. I'm
divorced.
taking bets.
You told
I'll
us
take
about
bets.
it.
I'll take that. I'll take that. How much?
What
are you offering?
honeymoon.
What are you
Wow,
offering?
hold on. So he's
What are you
now-
offering?
I'm
he's
taking
getting-
bets.
You're
on
cashing it
Jeremy's
now.
divorce.
You got so you
It's because my wife is a vegetarian.
pro or
It's
anti?
plus 190.
190?
And you want in on this?
Man.
Give me 210.
No.
I-
I think you're going to stay together. I don't think you're going to get a divorce.
My
Thank
parents
you.
are divorced. I know this subject better than anyone.
Was one
You
of them a
guys are-
vegetarian?
No.
Okay.
One of them was a horse girl, though.
Please say what you're going to say.
A horse girl?
Yeah.
What's a horse girl?
You guys don't know what
Say
a
it.
horse girl is?
No.
Wait,
Oh
finish
my
your
God.
sentence
Like a
first.
centaur or
Yes.
something?
I'm on pins and needles.
We'll get back to
Jeremy?
horse girls in a second.
You are not going to get divorced.
I said no. Yeah, I said no.
Thank you,
I mean,
What's a horse
it's
girl?
a coin toss.
Yeah, well, you guys don't know what a horse girl is.
It's a girl who likes horses.
If
But
we're gonna
it's-
wait,
but
if we're
they
gonna
really like horses.
like weirdly so.
Like, did you guys ever have the kid in your school that would gallop?
no.
Yeah,
Yes,
we had a couple.
yeah, no, I know
of
who
those.
you're talking
Yeah.
about. I know horse girls.
Like they love
a
horses.
centaur?
Usually their name is Grace.
Your
Weird
mom
enough.
would gallop around.
She wouldn't gallop around, but she was a horse girl.
Put it on the poll. The girls who gallop in school usually called Grace.
They are. That's always their
That's
name.
the most
Was-
accurate thing Lucy's ever said on this
Was
show.
the horse girl the reason why the divorce happened?
I think so.
Okay.
But I gotta say, it's my dad's fault. He knew she was a horse girl from the jump.
That was my question. Did he always know that she was a horse girl?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And your wife's not a horse
girl.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like a divorce, but
not
divorce.
terrible.
2 minutes.
What? You're not in charge.
It's
Juju,
okay.
it's up to Juju. I'm sorry.
There's also a lot of gene horse girls. A lot of genes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
huge part of it.
Yeah.
They all dress the same, sort of.
Well, I'm talking about the
name,
like
yeah, he meant the
Eugene,
name Gene.
Like
Yeah.
Gene, Jean.
Oh yeah,
I don't know any
Not
genes.
Grace. Yeah.
I know a lot of genes.
You know a lot of genes?
I'm from the country. I grew
As
up in the
horses
country.
or people?
I went to the a school of agriculture and horticultural sciences.
Really?
Where we had to fish and stuff for grades. So yeah, well, I
You had
know
to
a lot
fish
of-
for grades?
You dig me?
That's
Wait,
crazy.
hold on a second.
That's a
You went to a
class.
school where you
I
had
don't
to
know
go.
if it was- I don't know if we got an A or a A minus, but the activity was fishing. So we all went out and dug holes and like catfish would come out of the hole.
Really?
That
Hell
feels
yeah.
like pass or fail, like not really a grade.
Right. I'm not sure how. I'm not. This was like fourth grade. I'm not sure the logistics.
grade?
In fourth grade?
Absolutely. Come on. That's why I'm telling you. Y'all don't even know who y'all be standing around. I'm cultured.
Yeah.
Y'all boy be acting like I'm just street. No, I got more to my repertoire.
I love this.
This is cool.
Lehman would love this school. You should talk to Lehman.
I'm gonna talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit you up, Lisa Luke.
Did you have like a Future Farmers of America at your
Yep,
school?
in the FFA, I had
Yeah.
got the corduroy blue and yellow jacket.
You were in the FFA?
Come on, man. I tell you, I don't know who y'all talking to. South Beach session me one day. We'll get to know me.
I was
Why
in
are you asking us to do that?
Hey, y'all know who's
Let me get some
listening.
fries off your plate, though.
I was in. Look, here's the thing. When you go and you split, I will say this, and people obviously are disagreeing with me on this. I think that if I have to go and I have to choose to eat half of a meal that I don't really want to keep my wife happy, that falls in the for worse category, in the for better or worse that I agreed to when we got married.
But what if it's something you're interested in eating?
It's
Oh,
like,
I'd like
then
to
I
have
would
a
have
half a
ordered
burger.
it. Then I would have ordered
Have
it.
you never seen the delight
never
on
craved
someone
two things?
else's face when they're trying to make a decision on their meal? You think to yourself, there are these two things that
No.
I would really
Oh,
like.
and you
they
connect?
might want one or both of them. You say, hey, would you want to split these two things? And they're excited about it. That's one of the best feelings you can have at a meal.
It usually starts with a conversation of like, ooh, that sounds sounds good. I think that sounds good too, but I'm deciding between this.
You have to
and
listen
then-
closely
Yeah,
at
and
the
then
table, yes.
You're like, oh, okay, well, we both think this sounds good. What do you think about this option? It's not like we're just like, hey, this is what I'm getting, this is what you're getting, and we're splitting it. There's usually like discourse to decide, and both parties agree to the matter.
I like you can have a bite, not half my meal.
Right. You
and
can try
It's
it.
half of their
Yes.
meal.
No, I wouldn't want half of
But
their
it's
meal.
but it becomes your meal together.
This is
our meal.
this is also a problem that I don't encounter because like when it's like a situation where it's like, what do you want to eat? My answer always is I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, there's rarely a situation where I know I want two things because I don't even know
Right.
the one thing. That
You
I
don't
want.
have like your thing at most restaurants you go to.
Everyone has a
McDonald's,
thing.
but,
I mean,
like,
come
I'm
on.
not going to split a Big Mac.
Those are
I'm
Billy's
crazy.
restaurants, all the fast food joints.
Exactly
I
right.
mean, every time I call him, that's where he is online to
not
get fast food.
When you go out to a restaurant, though, Billy, there's something that you gravitate towards more than not.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what type of restaurant, right?
Like, do you have a Mexican place that you go to often?
I've eaten with Billy, burger guy.
If I don't like something on the menu, I'll go to a burger. Burger's usually pretty safe.
I think what we're saying is when I go to La Bamba in Plantation,
Yeah.
great Mexican place, I know what I'm getting.
Flautas.
I think about it for days. Yeah.
Now, exactly.
I'm getting steak fajitas.
You're
like-
thinking about it for days.
Steak
And
is
now
so good in
imagine.
those So good, yes.
Now imagine you go to order and the last minute someone's taking half of that away from you. Half of your fajita's gone,
Right.
and here's half of a quesadilla
Oh,
that you weren't craving for
Fajitas
days.
are the most splittable food in the history of food. You can split fajitas easily.
I mean, sometimes you get the steak and chicken and you split them. I mean, certain places you have to split. You go to
fajitas for
Cheesecake.
two?
You
Little
go to.
fajitas for
Oh, I
two?
love fajitas for two. When you go to Cheesecake Factory, you have to split that meal. Have you gotten the shepherd's pie at Cheesecake Factory?
8,700 calories.
Feed a village.
I've never been to Cheesecake Factory.
Is it really?
What?
Cheesecake Factory is the one that has the crazy menu, right?
Yeah, gigantic
It's
menu.
way
Never
too much.
been.
Way
It's a
too
book.
much stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Too many
I'd be
options.
overwhelmed.
You
Yeah.
can fan through the menu.
Well, you
like,
love
can literally
it
go.
because there's so many options. You could split. You could go with a,
Yeah, but
a
you only
party of
get-
4 and split meals 4 ways.
You only get 2 out of like 500.
Yeah.
And I don't split every single time I go
Yeah.
out to eat. But if we're at
She's
a
just
good
willing.
restaurant, and it's like also a cool way to try something new.
Thank you.
I like trying new things.
I don't.
I think the even ground here, the middle ground is we just order a lot of things and then we all pick
That's
from
the
them.
I like a
best.
tapas.
I
like a
hate
tapas.
That's the
that.
best.
I love
Like I
that.
went to an
Yes.
Italian place
I
on the
hate
beach
that.
we had.
I
do you
hate
mean
that.
you hate that?
Well, because then that is now it's time to split the check, and then you always have someone that's like, you know what? We should get lobsters for the table.
Yeah, but there's
And
3
then they-
groups. Split it 3
yeah,
ways.
3 groups.
Easy.
Have one group eats all the lobsters, and then it's like, what's left? Oh, French fries. That's what my meal was
Right.
for today.
Get
and
in
how
there.
much is
And
my
Billy's
French
paying
fries?
for it.
Exactly
Right.
right.
Yes.
$8,000.
I've been in uncomfortable conversation.
I've been
I
in
don't know why y'all don't talk to y'all friends. I tell my friend, hey, bro, you ate these lobsters, bro. I ain't gonna give a damn. I had 4 fries.
I've been in situations pre-marriage. I was in situations, and I hope they're not listening. Pre-marriage, I was in a situation where you go out to a restaurant, right? And then it'd be like, 4 single people or people that are dating, whatever, and then like a married couple, right? And each single person or unmarried person puts their card in, and then the married couple puts in a card for both of them. And it's like, hold on. That's not how numbers work. Because there's 2 of you now paying with 1 card, and each one of us is paying with an individual card. One of you is essentially eating for free.
That's when you're like, hey, Carl.
No, I don't.
It's,
I don't
it's
say
actually
that.
costing you more money because the split
That's what
is
I'm
less.
saying.
It's not one eating for free. It's that you're paying more for the same meal.
Correct.
and
I'm
somebody
paying,
else is paying
I'm
less.
paying more.
You
Yeah,
asked that
married couple's
other
paying
person
less.
who didn't give a card, hey, where's your card?
No,
Well, that's
I would
on-
never do that.
As a server, if that would happen, I would be like, so do you guys want 2 on this card?
Wow.
I was a great server. So I was always like very keen to like, oh, okay, so these people are paying, these people are paying. Or you just ask, can you split it like by what everyone ordered?
At the beginning, though.
Yeah,
You're
at
a
the
jerk.
Well, what's the
If you
expectation when
ask-
you do that, though?
If you
usually?
ask a waiter or server to split it at the end,
Right.
that's a jerk move.
How annoying was it as a server to have something split like 4 or 5 ways?
I think it wasn't my favorite thing. It's not like incredibly difficult. I think the worst is when you would be like a table of 10 and at the end they'd be like, it's going to be 10 separate checks. And I'm like, well, guess what? It's going to be 45 minutes before you get your check. And then
Yeah.
they get pissed because you took so long to get their check. You didn't tell me ahead of time that there were 12 separate orders here.
That's the key.
And then you
Say it
have
ahead
to-
of time and
yeah,
you're good.
You have to like go through the system and be like, okay, so he got a Diet Coke and he got a burger. And then usually you forget who ordered what. So then you have to go back and be like, okay, okay, so who got the buffalo chicken wrap? Like,
right now you're doing long division by the fries.
Now you're like putting letters next
Yeah.
to things like this one's mine, this one's
if
mine.
it's 5 people or more, you need to say it ahead of time, or 6.
Do you ask or ever ask, or is that then like rude?
Sometimes I do ask, but I think for the most part, people are pretty good about it.
Yeah.
If it's like less than 5 people, if it's like 4 of you and you're like, hey, can you split this 4 ways? Yeah, it takes a little time, but it's not that much. I don't really care that
But
much.
Billy, in your scenario, if you're single going out with a married couple, like 2 is 1 when you're married. That's it. They're
No,
putting
it's
in their
not.
No, but it's on you for going out with the married couple, I would
Yeah,
think.
but 2 should not be 1. When you're ordering 2 meals and then you're paying with 1 card and you're dividing it 4 ways.
That would be like if she goes out with
You're
Lehman
making
and
everyone
Jess,
else-
like if they split it down the middle.
Yeah, would you do a
Lucy
50-50
and
split?
1 card for Jess and Lehman.
Usually, Lee puts the card down, and then he'll just Venmo request me. And I have like a big thing of I never want to be like one of those people that doesn't pay people back.
Yeah,
So
same.
it doesn't matter where I am. If I get that Venmo request, I'm responding within 30 seconds.
That is the move nowadays. 1 card and just send me money.
Venmo requests. I'm old, so I don't know.
Venmo scares me.
What?
I mean, I use it nonstop, but it scares me.
I'm a Zelle man.
I mean, I'm just sending money. I have no idea where it's going, who's watching, who's taking my information.
Okay,
It
well,
just
just
all
go on
scares me.
private because the thing is
You could do that?
yeah, some of us are sick in the head, me specifically, and I love to scroll through my Venmo feed. Love to know what's going on. That's how you learn all the juicy gossip.
Speaking of scrolling through the feed, Chandler Parsons said that this series is just as toxic for Kristaps Porzingis going back to face Luka Doncic as it is for Kyrie to face his old team. And then Luka responded and said, boy, I talked to Chandler Parsons maybe 1 or 2 times. KCP is my friend. So he dunked on Chandler Parsons yet again. Back to you, Stu.
This series has nothing to do with Porzingis, okay? No series will ever have anything to do with Porzingis. No one cares if Porzingis wins an NBA title. Porzingis doesn't have to win an NBA title. He's not exacting any revenge on any team. He's Kristaps Porzingis. This series is entirely about 2 people: Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving. That's it. It's not even about Luka.
Really?
There is no pressure on Luka to win this.
I care so much.
There is 0 pressure on Luka Doncic to win this NBA title because we all assume he's going to win one at some point.
But Kyrie's won 1 too. Like I don't know what you're doing with Kyrie there. There's no pressure. He's won a title.
The storylines are, can Jason Tatum finally win a title, and can Kyrie win a second title, one without LeBron James, and get back at the Celtics?
That's the
Those are
storyline, but that's we don't. People make the storylines. The storyline really is: can the Danny Ainge years transform it into the Brad Stevens years? Can y'all get it done, man? Like Mike said the other day, can y'all do it in 1080p? Because it's been a while since anything was possible for Kevin Garnett. It looks like it's time to do it, dog, because y'all having a great team who advances far in the playoffs every year. I think it's the organization that needs to prove themselves. As much as Jason Tatum, but if he have a mediocre series and win, we're not going to be like, oh, Jason Tatum, you a fraud. If he have a mediocre series and lose, we're going to be on his head. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. But if he has the mediocre series and wins, he wins. Like, he wins.
But then the narrative is what? Jason Tatum didn't do it. It had to be somebody else. It had to be the help from somebody else.
Bro, I believe if he have a bad series and they win, it's okay, bro. That's why you got this team. That's why your team is number 1. You got Derek White. You got backups on the bench. Peyton Pritchard put in good minutes. You got Drew Holiday already got a championship pedigree, and he going to be the one defending Kyrie Irving. And in my opinion, that's one of the best people to try to defend. So I think it's a team effort, bro. Jason Tatum, do not fall for this where you think you got to be Superman and fade away. That's what's wrong with him. He listening to y'all. He ain't no pressure. Pass the ball and drive that guy.
Did we hold it against Steph Curry when Iguodala won the MVP? Because I'm like imagining a scenario where Jaylen Brown dominates the series and he wins the MVP. He
gets the credit.
Like, are we going to kind of do that thing where it's like...
I don't think anyone took the Iguodala MVP seriously. I mean, everyone knows Steph was the MVP of that team.
The only person who held him accountable was Mike. Mike was like, let me see it in the finals. And then once he got the finals MVP, Mike was like, okay, well, I can't say no more about Steph Curry.
Right.
So there will still be some haters out there, but I'm with Juju. Like, if they win, they win.
Sports.
If they win and he doesn't play...
The storyline of Kyrie is a Stugotz storyline. He doesn't like Kyrie.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with You're asking me who has the most amount of pressure. If you were asking me who has the most amount of pressure of all the guys on the Celtics, all the guys on the Mavericks to win an NBA championship this year, I would say it's Jason Tatum 1, Jaylen Brown and Kyrie Irving 1B.
I don't know what you're doing with not putting, like, people have been saying Luka's a great player for a long time. Like, he's just going to skate and not have any pressure here?
No, but Jalen and Jason Tatum have been at this point, Eastern Conference Finals, NBA Finals, for the last 6 or 7 years. Luka's just getting started. Like, he is. We didn't do this to Tatum after the first one. It took 6 or 7 years. We'll start doing it to Luka 6 or 7 years from now if he hasn't won one yet. But this year, he'll get a pass, especially if he loses to that team. That team has been historically good.
Especially if he also loses. If Jaylen Brown already promised Taylor Rooks like 5 championships by now.
Yeah.
So I think he under a lot of pressure as well. So you're right, bro.
Stu, it's already been 6 years for Luka, right? In 6 years, when he's 12 years
Yeah, but not
in the league,
6 years knocking on the door, though.
Sure, but like this is house money because he was a 5th seed? They weren't supposed to make it here. There was so many better teams in the West.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying.
He's a top 5 player in the league, though. I get what you guys are saying and that this is first time here and we don't really crush people the first time. But if you're a top 5, the best scorer in the league, I just don't understand how you're 5th in pressure in this series.
Because it's his first time here. They made it to the conference finals before. This is his first time in the NBA finals. And because the Celtics have been here 6 or 7 years now consecutively, it's all about whether or not they're going to finally win the championship. If they do it at Luka's expense, it's okay. Luka lost to a historical team and took a team by himself, well, with Kyrie, a 5 seed, to the NBA finals. Like, I think people have said, hey, Luka's done enough. Like, he's great, he's awesome, and we'll move on to this in a couple of years. But this year, it's all about whether or not the Celtics will win. How could you see it any other way? I'm not even certain there is another way.
It's the same grace that the Timberwolves have kind of gotten. It's like once they beat the champions, they within themselves was kind of cool and it showed on the court. Right. And they was kind of relieved that, well, at least we got past this. I think that the same thing from the public opinion is with Luka. We see Luka making it to the championship as this thing that nobody expected. Nobody had this, so we give him credit. But like Chris said, bruh, Dan Marino would like a word, bruh, because you ain't just going to get here. You might want to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Stu, are you saying that now next season, now because he took a 5th seed to the finals, now he's in the finals, now the expectations start ticking for Luka next season if he doesn't win here?
Yes. I'm saying if they lose this year and Dallas makes it back to the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals, yes, then Luka he'll start to feel that pressure.
So right now, no pressure. The moment this is over and they lose, pressure.
This is a house money series for Luka, in my opinion. Like a house money. He cannot lose even if he loses. He just can't. I mean, he's the reason they're there, and he's never been there before. You have to go there a couple of times before we start questioning whether or not you can do it. You have to go there and lose a couple of times, and that's what Tatum has done, and that's what Jaylen Brown has done. Kyrie's pressure is different. Can he do it without LeBron? That's a different kind of pressure.
Do you believe LeBron when he says he's mad as hell that he's not teammates with Kyrie anymore? Or do we think he's kind of rewriting history there? A little revisionist history.
Revisionist history
from LeBron
especially
there.
on Tuesdays.
Why are you calling him a liar?
Because wasn't it his fault that Kyrie is no longer playing with him? Did we forget that?
I mean,
allegedly.
Look, given the option, LeBron at 38 or 39 or whatever he is now, saying, hey, you want to be teammates with Kyrie now? He'd say absolutely, right? But if you go back in time to like 2017 or whenever the trade happened, yeah.
Right, this is another one of them LeBron. What do you expect LeBron to say? No?
Nothing.
Like somebody asked him probably, like, you know what, I'm mad as hell. Yeah, that's not the
Nothing's
guy.
always an option. Like, he can always just say nothing about a situation,
But
right?
that won't get clicks.
Why does he need clicks? Why does
LeBron
he always need
Greg Cote says stuff for clicks,
Exactly
not LeBron
right.
James.
Oh, don't bring that up.
You guys don't know LeBron.
Oh, Greg's already taking a victory lap. He's retweeting the article saying, hey, I heard all of Canada's mad at me. Here's the article that got them mad. Check it out.
Yeah.
Good God.
Well, he's going to join us, Greg Cote, will, at 11:15. But coming up
wow.
next, I'm very excited for this. The voice of the Stanley Cup, the voice of the NBA Finals, Sean McDonough, Mike Breen, together next. The NBA Finals tip off tomorrow night. Very much looking forward to that series. The Stanley Cup Finals right down here in Sunrise, Florida. That gets underway on Saturday night. The Panthers taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Greg Cote will join us at 11:15 to talk about the overrated Connor McDavid. Mike Breen is with us, voice of the NBA, voice of the NBA Finals. Sean McDonough is with us. He will be calling the Stanley Cup. Sean, I will start with you. Do people who have never been to Sunrise, Florida, Sean, do they think Sunrise, Florida is paradise?
Absolutely. 100%. It's a great place. We're looking forward to getting back down there.
Dan couldn't be here, by the way, because he's interviewing part 2 of his interview with George Sedano out in L.A., so he could not make it. I apologize. And Mike Breen seems to be very upset by this. He thinks I duped him, and I did not.
Bamboozled, he said.
Bamboozled, but Mike has been on with me so many times without Dan, and I'm surprised that I got the reaction that I got, Mike. I'm hurt.
Well, we didn't find out that Dan wasn't going to be on until about 15 minutes before. I tried to cancel.
I didn't think it mattered, yeah.
I changed my mind. By the way, Sean's background
amazing.
It's so much better than mine. Already I'm number 2 here. I mean, that's just a place to be.
I would like to say this. I know Mike's very upset that Dan isn't on here, and he texted me and said he was going to not do this, and I talked him into it, so we're there.
You're my guy, Sean.
He's been
Thank
on
you.
like 18 times with you guys. So this is the first time I've ever been on, and apparently I can't be on by myself. I have to be on with the legendary Mike Breen and the NBA to get a chance to be on this legendary show.
I'd also say, Mike, don't sell yourself short. It's blurred, but you seem to have great crown molding behind you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. Mike is in the nicest hotel in Boston, regardless of how the background looks. Which, on the hockey beat, we don't always stay at some of these 5-star places. There are a lot of 5-star choices, as you alluded to, in Sunrise. So there's that. But we don't always get to stay at the 5-star places.
How'd you guys, if you don't mind me asking, and I'm not certain if you guys actually got together for dinner last night, but Sean has to get finger surgery. He made it to dinner. He's getting it today, by the way. He told me that. And he's getting it today.
Not flipping off you or your
Oh, I love that. Can you give me the finger right now, please? I want to see that.
That's
finger.
one of the great things. I get to hold the mic on national TV like this. And friends of mine say, you're flipping off North America. No, it's just, I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm so used to holding the mic with my right hand. The producer would say, can't you just hold it in your left hand? But I can't.
Listen, it's not a coincidence that that's the finger. It's from overuse of using it at so many people over the past.
But I'm wondering.
Well, you know what's the problem? I cannot legally drive now in Boston since I can't use my middle finger. That's.
But I am wondering here, guys, because you were supposed to have dinner. I don't know if Mike made it. I know Sean did. Now he's here doing the interview. He has to get surgery. He's a hockey announcer. That's a hockey announcer, okay? Did Mike Breen make dinner last night?
By the way, with a nod, Stugotz, to the hockey playoffs, and probably to the NBA playoffs as well, I'm referring to this as a mid-body injury. We're not allowed to be specific about injuries. It's an appendage problem.
Got it.
And by the way, Sean, don't feel obligated to call him that name. I refuse to call him that. It's Jonathan. That's how you should.
Jonathan.
Wow. Only my mom called me Jonathan, but I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm good with it. So did Mike Breen make it out to dinner?
Mike, I actually crashed Mike and Doris's dinner.
Wow.
They were sort of the warm-up for me, and then I went over, and because nobody else would do this, I had dinner with PJ Carlesimo. So I just stopped by to say hi to Mike and Doris.
PJ, one of the nicest people I've ever met.
No,
you get out more.
That's not true.
Okay. I'm sorry. What has PJ done to scorn both of you? I mean,
no, you're right. He's a great friend to both of us. He's a great friend to anybody. But his dinners last 4 to 5 hours, and if you have a game coming in the coming days, it really cuts into your preparation time.
When you guys as broadcasting legends go to dinner together, do either of you ever order a meal and beforehand you order different meals and decide, I'm going to eat half of this meal and you're going to eat the other half and we're going to split it and combine our meals?
Well, first off, when we have dinner, this has become a tradition. The entire dinner we talk in our announcer voice.
Yes.
Just feel it's better when we do with talking to each other, talking to the waiters. It's all part of the preparation.
Mike enjoyed the appetizer last night, and when the waiter came over to ask how everything was, he said, which always gets a great reaction. So we do speak. And you know what? The problem when play-by-play people get together is, one time I did a game with Jay Billis on a Saturday night, and then we were driving from Duke up to Virginia to do a game Monday night. So I mentioned to a friend of mine, Jay and I are just going to drive up to Charlottesville Sunday. And my buddy said, who's going to listen? And that's sort of the problem when play-by-play people get together for dinner. There's just a lot of simultaneous talking.
I'll have the bang, bang shrimp.
Breen, have you ever done that? Please say yes.
I'll say that's not the first time I've heard that joke.
You crushed him. He's left the room. He felt so good about it, Mike.
He really is cranky that Dan's not here. I wasn't really believing that at first. But
I am wondering, because I've asked athletes this before, and sometimes you'll hear other athletes ask, hey, if you could take one thing from another athlete, what is the thing that you would take? So I will ask you this as play-by-play guys. Mike, if there is something from Sean McDonough's play-by-play ability that you could take and implement into your game, what would it be?
All right, I'm going to be serious here for a minute. I'm glad you brought that up, because this guy is as good as anybody in our business, and it's because of his versatility. You find me a guy that does football, college and pro, hockey, baseball, basketball at an elite level. He does all sports at an elite level. I'm blown away. I'm in awe of how elite he is at every single sport. I'm a one-trick pony. I do one sport. This guy crushes it on every sport. So to answer your question with one word, versatility.
Sean, go ahead.
I appreciate that. I'd take Mike's salary. That would be number one. No, I mean, I think there's a reason why I believe it's 3 times in a row now that Mike has won the National Sports Emmy for play-by-play, in what Scott Van Pelt described on SportsCenter the other night as he was congratulating Mike as a very crowded category, and it really is. So, I mean, that's not just the way his peers feel about him. I think that's the way the audience feels about him. You know, I think I've always said our job is to enhance the viewer's enjoyment of the game and not detract from it. You know, and sometimes there is a fine line. You know, Mike is just, he's the best. And he's on all the technical play-by-play things, it's 100%. But, you know, he adds to your enjoyment of the game with the well-placed story, with his enthusiasm, with the ability, as you just said, bang, to punctuate the big moments. To me, that's one of the great tests of any great play-by-play person. How do you do in the biggest moments? And then his interaction with his teammates. You know, he brings the best out of the people that he works with, too. So, you know.
But the salary.
I think the Emmys. Right. I'd like the Emmys. Mm-hmm. I'd like the National Sportscaster.
But the money is what you want, really.
But the money is pretty much it.
Mike Breen and Sean McDonough are both with us here. Stanley Cup Finals get underway on Saturday. NBA Finals tomorrow. I'll say this in front of Sean because he's from Boston. Are you amazed, Mike Breen? Are you amazed that Boston as a city is so unlikable, a sports city is so unlikable that we have found a way to rally behind Kyrie Irving?
I have to leave now. I have my Celtics green on for a reason. I am a green teamer. I will be at game 1 with my pom-poms, heckling Kyrie Irving for what he did to this city. He should never be forgiven. He promised he was going to stay, and he left us. Wow. And then he stomped on the logo and all those other horrible things.
Jonathan, I could not disagree more. Jonathan. I mean, it's one of my favorite cities in the country. I love coming here. The atmosphere at the TD Garden is off the charts. They love their team as much as anybody. And as you know, when fans have this unbelievable love affair, sometimes it becomes irrational. But that's the way it is in all the great towns. But this place it's an amazing place to be during, not just in the arena, but walking around town, going to the restaurants last night. They're so into it. It's, to me, it fires me up.
But I think we were talking about this right before you guys came on, and I love Boston. I went to school in Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm just saying, as a sports town, other cities,
University.
Clark University, very well done.
Excellent school.
Yeah, I went there though, Sean.
3-point record.
No. When people don't get into Syracuse or Fordham, they go to Clark. Wow. That happens. It's okay.
Well done by you. But we were discussing right before you both came on. I was saying that Luka has no pressure to win an NBA championship this year. That I think it's all squarely on the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum. Mike Breen, I'll start with you. Do you agree with that?
I don't understand the whole thing. Now, clearly they have pressure to win because they're in the finals, and this is their ultimate goal, and neither one of them have done that. But I just don't understand how it's going to make or break their reputation. I mean, Michael Jordan won his first title. He was 28. It was his 7th year. LeBron James won his first title. It was his 9th year. He was 27. I mean, Tatum's 26. Doncic is 25. You know, if neither one of them, you know, obviously one of them's going to win, but the one who doesn't win, maybe they don't win next year, but then maybe they win 3 or 4 in a row. I mean, to put that kind of pressure on somebody in their early 20s or mid-20s, and especially the kind of success Tatum has had, yes, he's fallen short. I never understand that. Obviously, the goal is to win the whole thing, and that's what they're trying for. But let their careers play out before we talk about, you know, did they come short of their potential?
Sean, what do you think as a fan, as someone who grew up in Boston?
Well, I think if they don't win, Jason Tatum's going to have to leave town. That's pretty much it. No, I agree with Mike. You know, he's a great player, one of the best players in the NBA, and obviously Doncic is too. I just don't want to sit too close to courtside tomorrow in case Doncic just starts screaming at people sitting near the court like he did in the Western Conference Final. But I do think there's a little bit of a narrative here in town. Yeah, Jason Tatum's great, but we need him to be great when it matters the most. And obviously, this is when it's going to matter most. Celtics have been kind of around the championship conversation for several years now with this nucleus, and it's a lot more of a team than just Jason Tatum. I think they have a terrific team that Brad Stevens and the group have built here. But the certainly here in town, if they don't win the championship this time, it'll be a huge disappointment. And I think Tatum will take a lot of the blame for that, whether it's fair or not.
Big Brother Breen, I think the pressure is on the front office, the Brad Stevens, and all these draft picks that they've spent to get to this point. So what do you think of that? I think that it may not be on Jason Tatum to perform right now, but I do think that front office should show and tell right now.
Well, the front office has done a magnificent job. He didn't win Executive of the Year, but you could have made a claim for it in terms of what they brought in. And again, here they are. They're in the finals in a year where nothing short of the finals would have been. I mean, that's all that mattered. Let's see how the finals play out. I mean, all different things can happen in terms of whether they win or lose. I just think that, to throw the definitive storyline because they win one year and don't win another year, that goes a little crazy for me. There are a lot of great players who never won a championship for some reason or another. Does it put you in a different level? Absolutely. If Jason Tatum averages 10 points a game in the finals and shoots 22% and they get swept, okay, then he deserves to be criticized. But let's wait and see how he handles himself. Let's wait and see how the whole series develops.
Sean, Greg Cote of the Miami Herald said that despite his 3 Hart trophies and despite all of his stats, Connor McDavid is overrated. In fact, he called him Mick overrated. What do you think about that?
Do we even have to respond to that?
No, we don't. We don't.
I think
you don't have an opinion.
He was saying it through the prism of he hasn't been in the Stanley Cup final yet. He's the best
maybe
player
I was just going to say, right, there's the parallel to Jason Tatum and I guess to a lesser extent to Doncic that, he's in his 9th year. He's only 27 years old. Mike's not the only one who's doing his prep there. Were you actually looking at the notes there, Mike, when you were?
He was.
That was very impressive. I like this. He's multitasking. He's preparing for the NBA final while being on a legendary program all at the same time. But no, not only is Connor McDavid not overrated, but last year and a half ago, when we were in beautiful Sunrise for the All-Star game, we had a room in the hotel. And the day before the game, many of the players were coming in for sound bites, and then I was just kind of chatting with them as they were going in and out to do a little preparation for the game. And I asked a lot of guys about McDavid, and Nathan McKinnon, who might be the second best player in the world, the Colorado Avalanche, said, everybody here is a great player. He said, but Connor McDavid is at a totally different level than everybody else in the National Hockey League. He is in his own place. And that comes from a guy who would probably like to be able to make the claim that he's the best player in the league if Connor McDavid wasn't alive. So he's not overrated. I think he's already one of the great players of all time, regardless of if he ever wins a championship. And I think it's great that he is in the Stanley Cup final for a lot of reasons. And I think the matchup of him and a very talented offensive team around him playing against this Florida team that just smothers you is going to be really fun to watch.
Mike, we'll get you out of here in just a second. Both of you, we'll get you out of here in just a second. Mike, do you want to announce?
Mike has nothing to do.
Well,
Mike has nothing.
No, you're both very, very busy. But I'm wondering, Sean, if Mike wants to throw his name into the hat for an NBA head coaching gig, because it seems like everyone he works with wants to leave Mike and go coach somewhere in the NBA. What's going on there?
I have my own coaching tree now. That's
If J.J. Redick indeed gets this job, you've been around him now, Mike, for a bit. So do you think he'll be a great head coach?
I do. It's his knowledge of the game is scary, and you can tell when he talks to coaches how they respond, when he talks to players how they respond, and you add that to his love of the game. And I'd always heard from anywhere he went when he played, he was a great teammate, so he understands all that. I mean, you never know until a guy's in the position, but I think he has all the characteristics to be a great head coach.
All right, on the way out here, we had Vince Scully on the show a couple of years ago, and I'm just interested because you guys are the best of the best, and so I want to see if something like this, something that happened to Vin, has ever happened to you. Let's play the sound first.
Back about my third year, about 1952, the Dodgers were playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati had an outfielder named Lloyd Merriman. I'll never forget it. And Lloyd hit a ball foul, and my mind told me to say, hot shot hit foul. And it never came out that way. and everybody in the booth fell down, and I was absolutely mortified. And the reason I remember Lloyd Merriman, I started filling. He's a former Marine Air Corps pilot, saw combat in Korea. I did on and on. That really, that had to be, considering how young I was, that was about it.
Both of you are laughing. You both love Vince Scully. Mike,
Yes.
have you had a similar type moment? Sean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I should say I was at part of an embarrassing moment. I met Vin Scully, and I was with Mike, and Mike asked Vin Scully, hey, Vin, what's it like to be the second best play-by-play guy ever to come out of Fordham? Which I thought was really uncomfortable, but
just to hear that voice again. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Mike, I'll yield to you.
Yes. Have you had an embarrassing moment, Mike?
Oh, we've all had numerous. I've had multiple. I mispronounced my own name on the air.
It's Mike Breen. How?
That's hard to do. It just came out like Brun. For some reason, it came out. These things do happen, unfortunately, too often.
Well, that was probably the heavy drinking before the game, which thankfully is a part of your past now. So I think that's really good. I said something very similar to Vince Scully. I was thinking about, can you curse on the show? I mean,
yes, you can.
Yeah, I was doing it. It was actually a Red Sox game, but it was on ESPN. It was with Ray Knight, who was the analyst, and Dwight Evans came up to bat. He had 2,299 career hits. So I wanted to say, here's Dwight Evans. He's one hit shy of 2,300 for his career. And I said, here's Dwight Evans. He's one shit high of 2,300.
That's a lot of shits.
Let's end on that.
I don't know. He was an older guy. I don't know what the rate is. That would strike me as low for a guy who's
3,000 shits. Yeah.
Late in his career. Yeah. But, and it's the same kind of thing as, everybody else in the booth is laughing. And when you stumble over something, you have to play it back in your head. And then you realize, oh my God, that's what I just said. But yeah. So, and we've all, I'm sure we've had plenty more when you've done as many games as we have.
Guys, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it. Sorry Dan was not here, Mike. I'm sorry you're mad at me. My mom used to call me Jonathan when she was angry at me, which is what you're doing right now. But
Jonathan with love.
Yeah, Jonathan with love. But we thank both of you for doing this. Very busy time for you guys, and we appreciate you joining us here. NHL Stanley Cup Finals Saturday night. Sean will be on the call. NBA Finals tip-off tomorrow night. Mike will be on the call. Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
You.